Did you know that you might be rich in GW2 without even realizing it? Alright, I know that this sounds like a shady get-rich-quick scheme, but I swear to you that that is not what this video is. I mean, it is kind of a get-rich-quick scheme, but it is not shady. It seems really easy to see if you are rich in GW2. You just go and check how much gold you have. If you don't have a lot of gold, that means no legendaries for you. But that is actually not entirely true. You might have loads of valuable items and currencies without even realizing it. From obvious things like your material storage to less obvious ones like Tyrian defense seals. Did you know that you can trade these Tyrian defense seals for loads of valuable materials? Me neither. But when I found out, I took my seals and instantly converted them for about 300 gold worth of materials. And then I crafted a legendary. Maybe you were just like me a month ago and you are basically sitting on an entire legendary worth of stuff without even knowing about it. Let's get into it. The first thing we're gonna talk about is probably also the most obvious one, the material storage. Whenever you get materials in Guild Wars 2, you can press this handy little icon to directly deposit your materials into the material storage. It is probably no surprise that the value of your material storage can really add up over time. If you sell one random stack of items from your material storage, you probably won't make that much. But if you look at the value of all your materials combined, it is probably worth a lot. On guildwars2efficiency.com, you can easily see the value of your entire material storage. Look, right now I've got about 400 gold of materials. I've got about 400 gold of materials just sitting there. Also, a char has invaded the video. Right now, I have about 400 gold of materials just sitting there. You can even order your materials by price so that you can easily find your most valuable stuff. You might be tempted now to just go sell all of your materials. Be warned though, if you are planning to use these materials in the future, you are probably better off just keeping them. If you are selling a certain material right now and then you end up just buying it back later, the only thing you're gonna do is probably waste trading both stacks. However, if you need gold right now and you're sitting on materials that you're probably not gonna use anytime soon, selling them might be really useful. Now, let's talk about some less obvious valuable things you might be sitting on. Let's talk about currencies. A lot of currencies in your wallet can be converted into materials or gold. Let's start off by talking about some easy ones. Laurels are a currency which you get from daily login rewards. If you've been playing for a couple years, it's very likely that you have a couple hundred of these. You can spend them on stuff like certain ascended trinkets or on toys like this super cute cat tonic. Clearly, everybody wants the cat tonic. But if you're not interested in those right now, you can also use them to buy material bags. You can then sell those materials on the trading post or use them to craft a legendary. The fast farming website is an amazing resource when you're doing stuff like this. If you look at their Laurel page, you can see that right now their best value for Laurels is medium crafting bags. The conversion for those is about 40 silver per Laurel, so if you have 500 Laurels, that's about 200 gold worth of materials. Not too shabby. Volatile Magic is a currency that you get in Living World Season 4 maps, and it is another currency that's really easy to convert into value. You do this by buying trophy shipments from the Volatile Magic trader in Dragonfall. According to Fast Farming, the current profit margin on these trophy shipments is about 12 copper per Volatile Magic. So if you're sitting on 20,000 Volatile Magic, that is about 24 gold profit. Also, if you have any Living World Season 4 map materials, like Mistborn modes, you can eat those to get more Volatile Magic. And you can use that Volatile Magic to buy trophy shipments. Do you have thousands of Eternal Ice Shards in your bank from Iceboot Saga strike missions? You can even trade those for Living World Season 4 map currencies like Mistborn modes, and then eat those to get Volatile Magic, and then use the Volatile Magic to buy trophy shipments. So many trophies. Here is a quick warning though, both the Sky Skull collection and the Legendary Vision require loads of Season 4 map materials. If you're planning to do either of these anytime soon, it's probably smart to hold on to your map materials. Next up, let's talk about the currency which I mentioned at the start of this video, Tyrian defense seals. You can get these seals from doing dragon response missions in the Iceboot Saga, or from doing the Dragonstorm meta. If you like doing the Dragonstorm meta regularly, you might have loads of these Tyrian defense seals. Each day, you can use these seals at Tyrian Ironmaw in the Eye of the North to buy supply boxes. You can only buy one of each box type each day, but you can currently make about 4.5 silver profit per seal. If you don't want to wait loads of days to spend all of your seals, you can also talk to Tactician Erlandson. He sells these same boxes at a slightly worse price, but without any daily limits. I recently converted a couple thousand Tyrian defense seals this way, and I got about 300 gold worth of materials. Nice. The currencies we've talked about so far have been really easy to convert into materials, which you can then sell for gold. Now, let's talk about some slightly more tricky conversions. Don't be scared off though, these conversions can be really profitable. I recently made the Arwyn Legendary Hammer, and most of the gold which I need for that legendary, I got by converting Imperial Favor. You get Imperial Favor from doing events in End of Dragons. Doing those events also gets you writs, which you can then eat for even more Imperial Favor. I do End of Dragons metas on my stream like all the time, so I was sitting on a lot of Imperial Favor, and I also had a lot of writs which I could eat for even more Imperial Favor. To craft End of Dragons precursors and legendaries, you need a lot of this currency. Not every player has a lot of favor just laying around, so some people choose to buy the precursor or even the legendary itself on the trading post. They're basically paying a premium to avoid having to farm the favor themselves. This means that if you have a lot of favor on your account, you can basically sell it to other players. You cannot sell your favor directly, but you can craft a precursor and then sell it on a trading post for a premium. This is how I made loads of gold for my Arena Hammer. I used my enormous amount of favor to craft 5 precursors, and then I sold them on a trading post for about 90 gold profit each. On the fast farming website, you can see which precursor is currently the most profitable to craft. Before you do this, make sure you check the website to make sure that whenever you're watching this video, it's actually like profitable. Personally, I didn't choose the most profitable precursor, but instead I went for the hammer precursor. The hammer is still pretty profitable, and I know it's a pretty popular legendary, which means that loads of people will probably be buying it. If you're doing this, make sure to buy order the materials and not insta-sell your precursor for maximum profits. Of course, be aware that it might take a little while for your precursor to sell. Someone might undercut you, or this video might flood the Arena precursor market. I take absolutely zero responsibility if that happens. But at least so far, making gold with this method has worked pretty well for me. Instead of crafting precursors, you can also choose to craft a full End of Dragons legendary instead. To craft an End of Dragons legendary, you will need loads of materials, but also End of Dragons map completion and a Gift of Battle. People who are buying their End of Dragons legendary on the trading post are basically paying you a premium to skip all of that. By the way, this also works for Generation 1 legendaries. Doing core Tyrian map completion and getting a Gift of Battle takes quite some time, so people are basically paying you for that effort. Alright, that is enough about legendaries. Now let's talk about raids. I actually made a whole video about getting into raids last week, but today we're going to talk about Magnetite Shards. Magnetite Shards are the main currency which you get from doing raids. They are super useful because you can use them to buy Senate gear, and you can also use them to buy 10 Mystic Clovers every single week. However, if you're really strapped for gold, you could choose to convert some of your Magnetite Shards. You can use your Magnetite Shards to buy Ghosty infusions in Wing 1 or Peerless infusions in Wing 7, and those infusions fetch quite a nice price on the trading post. I love raiding, and I'm currently sitting on about 20,000 Magnetite Shards. If I would use all of my Magnetite Shards to buy infusions, I could sell them for about 700 gold. And then finally, let's talk about my least favorite conversion. I can hear you thinking right now, then why are you talking about it? Because otherwise, all the YouTube comments are going to be, Lara, you forgot about spirit shards. I don't like converting spirit shards into gold because I am always running out of spirit shards. I like to craft loads of legendaries and those cost a lot of spirit shards. So I can basically see my spirit shard supply shrinking every single day. I would be pretty careful converting them into gold unless you have so many that you don't know what to do with them. You can use your spirit shards to buy items like Philosopher's Stones from Miani, and you can then throw those into the Mystic Forge together with materials to upgrade those materials to a higher tier. I will link the wiki article on this in the description. You're basically spending spirit shards to convert your current materials into more valuable, higher tier materials. The fast farming website once again helps us out here and tells us which ones of these conversions are profitable. When doing these kinds of conversions, I prefer sticking to pretty common materials like wood, leather, and trophies, because I know that those materials get used a lot, so they will sell on a trading post pretty fast. For maximum profit, make sure you avoid insta-buying and also insta-selling. Honestly, spirit shard conversions are just kind of annoying. You just spent a lot of time ordering materials, throwing stuff into the forge, and putting up sell listings. I guess it can be pretty chill if you're like watching Netflix on a different monitor, but these kinds of conversions tend to take a lot of time. I usually prefer just playing the game instead. And that is the end of the video! If you enjoyed this video, you should totally subscribe for more Guild Wars 2 and MMO content. If you have any questions, the best way to ask me is to stop by my Twitch stream over at twitch.tv/Levanity. I am live 5 nights a week. You should also totally join our Discord, which is filled with loads of super nice Guild Wars 2 players. Alright, that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.